Okay, so we've now let the patch and the glue has now dried. So we're just going to remove this little film. It's a very fine film which was over the patch. So we need to carefully remove that little plastic film. Very slowly peel it away. So everything's looking good. So now we will try and test it. So once again we will put the valve back in again.
And make sure it's enough.
And pump up the tire. So we'll just go around. Now we're here. We'll test
Ahmed?
the rest of the tire to make sure that there isn't two holes.
شوف ما عندي فرقة مثل أول.
أنت يا أحمد أكثر شخص المفروض تكون حاضر الكلام ده عشان تصلح حاجتك أنت لو تصلحها.
أنت لازم حاضرها.
أيوة لازم تحضرها لأنك أنت اللي حتسوق العجلة أنت شوف لو حصل لها شنو تصلحها أنت لحالك.
أيوة. شوف حط له مكان الرقعة. شوف مكان ما كانت فرقة أسرع ما عندي فرقة.
And we also check, put the valve right inside the water to make sure there's nothing coming out of the valve. Okay, so it looks good. So now we're going to put the tube back into the tire. We'll take the valve out again. And we'll give the tire a dry. And we're ready now to put it back into the wheel. So we find a hole, we put the valve into the hole. And then we stretch the tire on the outside. And now we can put the tire. In fact, what I'll do, sorry, I put the tire on first.
Yes.
Yeah. So we put one side of the tire on. So one side of the tire's on, and then now we will put in the tube. We're looking for the valve hole here. And we can. So we want to make sure the valve's right in. Then we start to feed the tube into the wheel. The good thing to do now is you have to put the tire back onto the rim, so to prevent you from nipping the tube that you've just repaired, what I tend to do is I put a little bit of air in the tube which will inflate the tube. So once again we put the valve back in to allow us to pump it up.
فهمت الخطوة دي؟ فهمت الخطوة دي؟ عشان ما يقوم يمسك في حتة هيقوم ينفخه شوي يعني التيار يقوم
ما لي شويه
عشان يدخل معاه.
يعني حيديه شويه هواء عشان ياخد شكله بعد ذاك
يمكن الشكل بتاعه
عشان ما يعني
Very little air, just very little.
دي برضه مهمه دي جديده
And you can gently,
بتقفلوه وبعدين بتفتحوه
gently
بتاعت
push the tire
العربيه يعني اكتر حاجه
back onto the rim.
اوكي.
Okay, now, when you put it back onto the rim, you need to be sure that the bead is right down into the rim. Yeah? So we can look at it like this, and there's a line on the tire that you make sure is a line. And just check both sides. Okay? So it looks pretty good. So we'll now give it a little bit of air. And don't forget, we don't want to put too much air because we need to get it back in
yes.
past the brake box. So we'll just give it a little bit more. And then we can.
دي برضه خطوه مهمه وعليك في وصل
Okay, so we're going to put it back in now. One thing to check, guys.
جديد عشان يقدر ينزل في محله
نعم.
بعدين
Some tires have a direction. They can only go in one direction. Okay, so that may only be
ايوه
can't go in this direction. Has to go this direction. So
Really?
sometimes,
sometimes
what you look for is a little arrow.
yes this is very important
مثلا الثلج الثلج هنا مختلف.
This one is giving no arrow. Gives no arrow, so it means
yes
we can
this
put
is
it.
okay
It's okay to put either way.
ابو صالح دولان
Okay.
قال لك في واحدة من العجلات الزيدية
زي العربة
بيكون فيها سهم إذا السهم لما تيجي تنزله لازم السهم يكون في الاتجاه الماشي لأنك لو ركبتها بدون ما تعاين للسهم وركبت بالقلبة ما حيكون إيجابي
ما راح يصير في خلل.
نفس السيارة
لكن دي هسه ما فيها سهم ده بالذات ما فيه سهم لكن
أوكي.
فيه بعد
فعلا بيسهم.
فيهم سهم
نعم
أنا
صحيح.
زمان النكشة النكشة بتاعت التاير وخاصة في السيارات.
So one of the things, another thing to check for, you'll see this little washer has a little tang on it here. Yeah? That little tang has to fit into that hole. Okay, it doesn't go this way, it goes this way. Okay, so
بسموها شنو احنا؟ وردة
الوردة أو
وردة.
ووشر هنا بيسموها ووشر.
والله نسيت ايش اسمها. نسيت ايش اسمها.
احنا بنسميها وردة
لا.
اللي هو قبل الصامولة
كأنه منتجم.
زمان لو عندنا كان دقيقتين انتهينا والناس
خلاص ايه.
لسه انتهوا رجعوه متخلفا يعني لكن هو رجل هو معاشي ونزل المعاش فدي متعته لازم نحترم له المتعه بتاعته دي
صحيح.
هي نحضرها ونسجلها وكده.
so make sure it's good tight.
Yes it's good.
And the last thing then is to
What's the air on?
put the air in. So we just want to make sure the valve is right out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not sitting in like that.
Yeah.
Make sure it's
Yes.
How many liters you add there?
Well, this tire, it says on it, there's a maximum pressure, usually about 36 to 40 psi, which is a
How
normal
do you know?
reading.
How do you know?
You don't, well, unless you have a gauge.
Yes, I
We can do it like this.
ah
There is a gauge you can use, a tire pressure gauge,
ah
and if you want to check it accurately, you can do it that way. But usually for a children's bicycle, it's reasonably firm.
36.
36 to 40.
I think also 36.
36
Let me just check.
ما لتر لكن 36 حاجة كلمة
PSI معانا.
PSI is pounds per square inch.
ما لتر
ما لتر مويه لتر لكن دي PSI ضغط.
عم يشيك
Yeah.
على
Says
من
here, inflate to 40 psi. Okay,
Yes, I.
on the tire. So
انا بدي اعرف فيها 45 لانه بيتنفس كل يوم.
What he said?
I don't know. It was funny.
No, he said normally he keep more than this patient because
For my car, I put 45 because every day I find it coming down. So I have to pay £5 every day to the puncture. عامل مرتب منه.
Okay, gentlemen, that's about it. That's your puncture repair.
thank you.
Now, sometimes we have a little valve cap. We just put the little valve cap back on. And the reason why you put the valve cap on is to prevent dirt and dust getting in. Because if the dirt and dust gets in, and you blow up your tire, you can blow the dirt into the valve, which will prevent it from closing properly, and you'll get a leak. So it's just good practice to put a valve cap on. So that's pretty soft still, so we can maybe pump that up a little bit harder later on. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. You have been a very good lesson to us.
Yeah?
Really useful, very useful.
Yeah. It is very useful, yeah.
Yes, very useful.
Such a
very interesting.
such a simple
Yes,
thing.
Very useful.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.